Hello, everyone. Today we have Steve Pearce and Brad Leeb on with us. Thanks for coming on. Steve, he is a former hockey coach and hockey dad locally here in Victoria. He also played at the Cowichan Valley Minor Hockey growing up. He's coached 30 years with Cowichan Valley and Peninsula. He has his BC Hockey coaching certification and also was the president as a coach mentor with the Peninsula Minor Hockey. He assisted coach for a couple years with the U15, U16 BC Cup teams. Um, and we have Brad Leeb, who has been a former 14-year pro, has played in the NHL with the Vancouver Canucks and Toronto Maple Leafs. Brad is a undrafted NHLer, which a lot of you viewers, it mean a lot to the players and some of the parents. Do not have to be drafted to play in the show or the NHL. Brad played his minor hockey in Red Deer. He also stayed local and was drafted in the second round in the WHL by Red Deer, and played 4 years there. Um, while during doing that in the juniors, he was playing for Team Canada World Juniors in 1999, where they were silver medalists, where they lost out. Brad had 8 points in 7 games, and some notable teammates he had on the team were Roberto Luongo, Brendan Morrow, Simone Gagne, and Andrew Ference, for some that may remember some of those names from back in the day, and some locals around here. He also played 6 years overseas in Germany and the UK, and got his master's while playing in the UK. Thanks for coming on, guys. And if you would like to add some intros about yourselves.
Yeah, Brad, you go first.
Well, thanks for having us, first of all, and that's a pretty good intro. And I guess one thing I will add, I'm a hockey dad too. I have a son playing up island in Oceanside. He's been up there for a few years, Braden Ross. So being part of the hockey world and now on the other side and the development side, and I can really appreciate what the parents are going through as they're seeing their kids grow up and play the game as well.
Steve, would you like to add?
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, actually, it's fun. Well, that's how we all get so attracted to this. Is I was a hockey dad as well, and my son played locally, and then played junior A couple games with the Grizzlies, and then made his way back east and played in Ontario in the SIJHL and the NOJHL, and then received a scholarship in Iowa and played in Iowa, which was neat for him. Hockey was a tool for him to see the world and meet so many people. And through that whole process, it was just so interesting. He always wondered why this player versus another. And at a certain level, they're all physically skilled the same. They just had something special in them that was different, made them different. So I was always intrigued by that. And that's always what I worked on with athletes that I worked with in baseball and hockey and other sports too, is how what makes you tick. And that's what brought us to where we are today talking to you, Brandon. So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like you guys said, both hockey dads, but also the game of hockey is just reconnecting or connecting us here, but also different and new faces, I think, around locally here in Victoria and British Columbia, but I'm sure that's just like elsewhere in other places as well. But appreciate you guys coming on. I guess one of the first questions I'd like to ask you guys, as we get into, I guess, a little bit of your left brain performance company that could help really benefit all of these athletes, but also hockey players. But is there any piece of advice that you could give back to a new hockey parent, or one that is open ears and ready to listen from your journey that you had coming up as a player, but also as a hockey parent?
yeah, for myself growing up in the 70s and 80s playing hockey, we had a lot more time to just figure stuff out. It wasn't so rushed. And also if you wanted to meet up with your buddies or whoever it was, the party line was taken. So you couldn't call them. So you had to ride your bike to go somewhere and hope someone was playing street hockey somewhere, or hope you could get on the ice. Whereas everything's so planned now that there's not enough time to just soak it in, the experience. So it's rush, 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 go do this, rush, 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 go do that. So the skills that are developed are just different. And I think that's the one thing I was going to say is just give your kids time to figure it out and talk to them. So
Yeah, I think hockey is such a beautiful vehicle, like in life. You know, there's so many lessons to be learned from it. I've taken so much out of the game, and I know, you know, young players might have certain goals, aspirations, and that's great to have. And I think, you know, for parents and for players, it's those lessons that you learn through hockey, and that's kind of, I think, what our conversations are gonna kind of be about is, you know, what Left Brain is able to help with is determine what those attitude, behavior, and characters are and how to improve them. And then as a parent and as a someone that's been playing and now not playing, there's I guess I have a different appreciation for all the lessons that hockey and the mindset that I've learned through that's helped me with all the other aspects of life. So yeah, just, you know, enjoy the ride, and you know, don't get caught up in all the little things, and know that, you know, that mindset is really a beautiful thing to learn through this sport, and that's probably the biggest thing I've taken away from the game.
Yeah, just going off of what both of you had talked about, there's a little bit of things are so rushed and planned. Certainly, you know, even being a coach and I guess program planner or business owner kind of thing, it's kind of the same thing. That's what I first noticed, especially in my first 2 years of starting up these private sessions with these hockey players, both on the ice but also off the ice. It just felt like everything had to be planned now, and that's where our world was kind of going. Where back in the day, we were just so used to street hockey all the time or roller hockey. That's all a lot of the stuff I did, as much as I played other sports too, competitively, but also for fun with my brother, sister, and my cousins and friends and whoever else joined, like every single day, especially in the summer months when we didn't have school. But yeah, I just find, you know, I wonder if it will ever kind of, or how soon it'll be to go back to how balanced it'll be of having that. I mean, with our the tech these days with iPads and the kids being able to have so much access to we'll say the world out there, that things are easier on their end where they can just maybe find out the knowledge, you know, up here, but they actually aren't really doing it with the actual stick handling and the shooting and the actual running up hills and that type of work that is really needed, you know, where, you know, you can study the game from watching YouTube clips. So this is how you score, this is how you hit, and things, but there's also things in there that I think the kids are not seeing that are small parts of the game that are extremely important um, to be a really well-rounded and good hockey player to continue to climb the ranks. Um, yeah, and I think, you know, and how important our player development, you know, both obviously individually and as a team, for any sport, but including hockey, your left brain performance, I think, is so crucial for these players to go through, to learn about themselves, to be educated. And that's where I think, you know, this type of culture of sports and hockey that we're in, I think, can change. There is lots of change since I've started 7 years ago, which for the benefit of skill development, also caring for the players rather than the old school of the old ways of just, you know, the power of the coaches and the management could just do things as they please, and the players are just kind of we used to kill just kind of just meat and just could be recycled through. I think things are changing a little bit that way. There's a little more respect for the players as you need the players to have any league or hockey to be ran. So I think that part is good. But at the same time, working with these young athletes, you know, 5 years old all the way up to, you know, the U18 age and even to the college and pro players, they're different. And you know, some being, you know, maybe not getting the opportunities that they wish for many different reasons, whether they didn't work for it, they aren't good enough, or you know, kind of the mindset of having entitlement that they think they deserve that, or yeah, it's just I think there's so many reasons of the character and personalities out there that this lip ring can help them. So